Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dylan's Daily Show. So, frequently you hear conservatives speak about becoming energy independent. And there's a reason for that, right? We want to become dependent in a lot of different areas. We don't want to rely on other countries in the world for a lot of stuff. The problem with being reliant on other countries, especially for oil, things of that nature, is because if we want to negotiate with these countries or anything like that, we're relying on them. And if the oil prices go up or if anything like that, we can't benefit from it because we're reliant on these other countries. And, we want to become an independent country where we can do whatever we want. We're not reliant on anybody. It's kind of like in your own personal life, right? If you're living your own personal life, you'd like to be independent. You'd like to be able to purchase your own stuff and be independent of other people. You don't want to have people continuously doing stuff for you because then you're reliant on those people for whatever it is that they may need you for. And we've been talking about it a lot. And Donald Trump has been working on helping us become more energy independent. We're going to get into that as the video progresses, but oil prices just hit $70 a barrel. They're headed toward $70 a barrel, and they haven't been at this level since 2014. Now, we're going to get into what this means for the United States and what this means for the world. We're going to get into the pros and cons of this, what could happen, because it could harm the U.S. economy, but it also could benefit the U.S. economy. We may see major success because of increasing oil prices. We're going to get into that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. And so obviously last time they were at $70 a barrel was 2014, and they hit rock bottom in 2016 at $26 a barrel. So they were decreasing drastically. And this was actually one of the reasons that Russia's economy was suffering because they're oil-based economy. So when the oil prices drop, obviously they're not making much money in the oil that they're producing in their country. And so that's impacting their economy. And that was the reason that was happening back then. Their economy was going through so much trouble. But it hit that rock bottom, which that's bad for oil producers. I mean, that affects, stocks, bonds, and the economy in general when oil prices start to drop like that. So you don't want oil prices to get too low because obviously the entire country, you want to talk about reliance, the entire world is reliant on oil at this point. Energy, alternative energy sources, while we may be working toward those alternative energy sources, we're not quite there yet. So, that'll take a little bit more time to get to that point. But a lot has changed since the summer of 2016. We've obviously had global growth. The U.S. unemployment is dropping. The world's largest oil producers have been cutting production, which is eliminating a massive glut, which is essentially an abundance of something. So they've been, obviously, like I just said, they've been cutting production of oil, these major oil companies. And oil prices have actually climbed more than 60% since the summer of 2016. They've climbed more than 60%, which is pretty big. And U.S. exporters are actually exporting more crude oil than ever, which is a pretty big deal if you think about it. Like that's big. People in the United States are exporting more crude oil than ever before. We're going to get into more than that. But we're going to hit the cons of this first and what could happen before we get to the pros, because I just want to get this out of the way. Some of the bad things is if crude oil prices keep increasing, it could be disastrous for the economic growth and just stifle economic growth, essentially. Higher oil prices for gas and other energy products are like a tax. In fact, I was just looking the other day, I was reading, if gas prices go up $1.05 more, it will completely eliminate any gains made from Donald Trump's tax cut, or the Republicans, the GOP's tax cut, if they just go up $1.05 more. And that's not that much. And gas prices are expected to increase a little bit. But that's what it could do, is it could increase the gas prices, which kind of acts like a tax for people. If you have to use your car, everyone's pretty much dependent on their vehicle. If you want to get to work or not, the economy is dependent on vehicles. And if people are paying more for gas, that cuts into money they may have been saving. They're paying more to get to work to make money. And so that can affect that, obviously. It pushes inflation higher, and that increases pressure on the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates even more aggressively. So obviously the Federal Reserve has been announcing over the past couple of years and months, really, that they're going to be increasing interest rates. And if inflation starts to go up, then the Fed will have to do that even faster, because inflation is essentially like the price of money, right? So if inflation starts increasing, that's what an interest rate is the price of money. But inflation is making your money less valuable. So it's more money to buy something, right? It costs more to buy something because each amount of money is less valuable. This is basically what I'm saying is you should start investing in gold or something of that nature, so your money just all isn't collected, because it's going to be losing its value, and the Federal Reserve is going to be increasing interest rates, and gold is expected to go up, but that's a topic for another video. Now, obviously, there's going to be slow growth on the stock market if this happens. Stock markets are already shaky due to rising bond yields. Inflation concerns pushed the bond yield on a 10-year Treasury note to the highest since 2014 on Friday. So that's that. Now, why have oil prices been going up? That's something we have to look at, obviously. And they've been going up because, in major part, due to OPEC, the OPEC, having a policy reversal, right? Having a major policy reversal. So in 2014, the group opted to continue pumping oil at high rates in an effort to protect its market share against U.S. shale products. And so they made that in 2014. Now they're reversing that, and they're getting help from countries like Russia and other, major oil producers around the world in a coordinated effort to cut that, and that has helped eliminate the supply overhang. So that's helped a lot with that. They've enlisted the help. So they've reversed this policy, which is causing oil prices to increase. Plus, we've got obviously a booming global economy right now, which is also causing them to go up, because if the demand is higher, why not raise prices, right? But here's where the benefits kick in. This is when the positives start to kick in, all right? The gas increases, the prices on gas have been slow. It's not like they're increasing drastically really quickly. So people have had time to adjust to the increasing prices of gasoline, right? If it were just to go from, $2.50, I don't know what the average is in the country right now, but if it were to just go up like $2 immediately, that'd be very significant for people. But if it just goes up a little bit and just gradually over time, people can adjust. It's not good, but it's not going to do as much damage as, some of the people that I was referring to before are saying that it's going to do. It's not as bad if they're going up slowly. And they're not even close to gas prices that they're high before. In 2008, when they were near like $4 on average, they're not even near that. So they're not as high as people are saying they're going to be. They're not increasing at the rate people are freaking out about. And that's what happens. I mean, whenever you have changes in the economy like this, or with oil prices or anything of that nature, you're going to see people panicking. You're going to see people predicting the worst, which could happen. I mean, what they were saying before, that we were talking about before, that could happen, but it's not likely, because gas prices aren't increasing that quickly. And demand for oil and gas is still strong, even with the prices increasing, which is a good sign. Like, if demand was going down and the prices were increasing, that wouldn't be as good. But since demand is still strong for these things, for the energy products, it's not as bad. That's actually a pretty good sign that that's happening. But here's where the win kicks in, right? Donald Trump has been pushing this agenda. He calls it his energy dominance agenda, and it's part of his America First policy. He wants to make America energy independent, which is something that a lot of people have been working on. And by the way, this is something that a lot of people skip over when they talk about Donald Trump and the success of his presidency. They skip over the fact that he's been having a ton of success making us energy independent, which is something that we've been wanting to work on. I remember watching the debates in 2012 between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and energy independence came up. We have a ton of oil off our coasts, and Obama was refusing to drill there. I mean, he was just like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. Environmental concerns is what they say. They don't want an oil spill, which I get, but it's like, we need to be energy independent. I don't want to be relying. Venezuela and Canada, we get the majority of our oil from them. And right now we're in a, talking to Canada about the TPP, trying to negotiate. We're getting our oil from these people, right? Like, we need to be energy independent. We'd have so much more power going into negotiations with that country. But Trump has been pushing that because he wants the country to become a net oil producer over the next 10 years, which is good. I think we all want that. Now, we just passed Saudi Arabia as the second highest oil producer in the world, because just recently, and the numbers that just came in last year, we pumped out just below 10 million barrels of oil, which is just below, obviously, like I said, 10 million, but that's just below the number one producer, which is Russia. And we'll get into that in a second, how that's beneficial. But we are actually set to become the number one oil producer over the next 5 years. Some people are even saying it'll happen this year. We'll see. But over the next 5 years, we're on record to become the number one oil producer around the world. And we haven't had oil, you know, we haven't pumped out that many gallons of oil since the 70s. I mean, it's been a really long time since we've done that. Now, Russia produces right now 10.83 million barrels of oil a year. That's in 2015, their numbers, and they're pretty similar to that now. But like I said, Russia's an oil-based economy, so they rely heavily on the oil. And like I said, they were impacted by the dropping oil prices around the world. But oil prices are also higher abroad. So when the U.S., think about this, if we're selling oil and producers in the United States, we're exporting oil, we're selling it at higher rates, you know, the barrels of oil. If we're selling, you know, close to 10 million, if not over 10 million after this year, we'll see the numbers. Obviously, we don't have them yet. But if we're selling over 10 million gallons of oil per year, we're making a lot of money on that. I mean, that's a good amount of money. Russia makes a ton of money. Saudi Arabia makes a ton of money on oil. You can look up the numbers if you want to see. And that would be great for the United States. That's the good thing about becoming energy independent like this. Sorry, dogs barking. But that's the great thing about becoming energy independent like this, is that, you know, we can benefit from things like this. Whereas before, if oil prices were increasing, we're bringing that oil in. We're paying for that oil to come to the United States. We're spending more and more and more money. And that's not good for our economy. But when we're benefiting from it, that's a huge positive. In fact, I think that'll be great. Yeah, but we're doing much better right now. Anyway, I'm gonna cut the video short here. I was gonna continue, but I'm gonna cut the video short because I know this is a little bit more of a boring topic. That's why I saved it for a Sunday video. But I want to get your guys' opinion on this down below. How do you feel about this? You know, like I said, people need to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, he's not perfect. Obviously, he makes mistakes. But he's doing a lot to help this country, and he's a hell of a lot better than what we would have gotten with Hillary Clinton, and I think we need to give him credit for that. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and share. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more. I will catch up with you guys next time. Bye-bye.